Well, good morning from the hot lead zone. It's Fortune Cookie 45 LC bidding all you shooters and reloaders out there a good day. These are the real fine Lee bullet mold handles. They fit the Lee 6-cavity bullet molds, but also a lot of the Lyman and Seiko 2-cavity bullet molds from the other manufacturers. So these will work for them too. And the nice thing about them is that these are available usually from Midway USA on sale for like $11. And for $11 you get real quality in a mold handle. Let me show you a close-up of those. This is heavy gauge steel. Real quality steel. I've never been able to wear out a set of these, but I like to have separate handles for every one of my 6-cavity molds, because you could just simply take them off and change mold blocks, but I like to keep the mold blocks with the handles together. And with Lee, the $11 cost for the handle and the $40 cost for the 6-cavity molds, it's not a expensive situation, so we can afford to have these. Now sometimes with the Lee mold handles, these things are just kind of peened on, so sometimes one of these comes off, but you can fix that by jamming some paper or something around it and friction fitting that back on. So they're quite serviceable, and I'm using 6-cavity handles way back from 40 years ago. Now some logical tips on installing mold handles, and I'm sure you'll all come to these conclusions yourself, but you notice that when you take these screws out, how much torque is necessary to unscrew that? That's the same amount of torque you want to reproduce when you put the screws back in, because you're dealing with a situation where you have aluminum, which is soft, and you could strip out your screws and the screw holes easily. So the same amount of torque unscrewing it is what you want to apply back on. Now when you put the mold handles on, you got your choice of putting the head of the nut up or the head of the nut down, in which case you got the open screw bolt going up. Well, since we're going to be hitting that to drop bullets, you're going to be whacking this with either your plastic mallet or you're going to be using a wood dowel. If you use this end up, you're going to wind up damaging your hitter, whatever it is. So it's good to have the flat head up. So install it this way and not this way. So we put that in there, and you don't need to see me putting this on, but you basically you don't want to over torque those. Now I've never stripped one of these yet in all these years. When my molds go bad, there's a reason for it, but not because I stripped these screws out. Now the danger is if you don't tighten these enough, then as you're casting, you could actually have the bolt fall out, and then when you're dropping bullets, the whole mold block falls off, and if you're quenching, the mold block will go into the water and you'll wind up with getting your mold block warped. I actually had one 6-cavity mold go bad because of that. So the trick is you want to torque this enough to keep it on, but not so tight that you strip out the screws. One thing you can do is every once in a while when you're casting, if you ever have occasion to put it down or use a mold guide and you feel a lot of friction, well the reason why is because that screw's backing out. And it's good to have a screwdriver handy to tighten that back up. And that'll keep you from having that mold block drop happen to you. But at that time then you can torque it back up again. So watch for that to loosen up in case you don't tighten them enough. So now I've got all three of them ready to go. Show you the other way around. Nice Lee 6-cavity molds. We'll probably break each one of these in by casting about 1,500 bullets each with them, just to get them all broken in. And then we'll have the fun of powder coating those. See you next video. Bye for now.